yes. Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. That's who I am. Hopefully, you're enjoying your weekend. Oh, and by the way, make sure you do what you need to do for your time zones. All right. For those of you that's listening in the United States, the time went up. I thought this was going to be the last time, but whatever. Right. But hey, you don't want to be too early for something, I guess. No, too late. Yeah. You don't want to be too late for whatever it is that you got going on. So, anyway, what's going on, y'all? Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, what we focus on, excuse me, it's all things leadership, growth, and development. All right, with a call to action from the household to out in the community. You dig? And today, oh boy, this discussion that we're gonna have, and Herm, he's gonna be on in a minute. He taking care of something, but man, y'all, look, people pleasing. Okay, people pleasing. Do you know individuals like that? Are you like that? I mean, think about it, y'all. So for example, is there a thin line or is there a line between being kind and then trying too hard to make someone happy? You get what I mean? Just because you know what your intentions are, okay? And then you can sometime overextend that thing, or people don't really ask you for that, right? But you just want to give and want to give. And so, well, we're having this conversation and really want you to think about how you can escape that whole people pleasing mentality. All right, so look, it's like this, y'all. Just because you have a heart to serve individuals and a heart to give and everything, your responsibility essentially is knowing who actually want that thing, whatever it is, right? Because yes, people need it, but not everybody want what you have. If that makes sense. I know it can feel away. Trust me, I know because I am guilty of it as well. Like, yo, hold on one second. It's Herm right now. Need to give him this link. So, I mean, it's like, hey, what is it that you're doing to really serve people the right way? Like, how are you doing that? And so there's sometimes when we, like I was saying earlier, we can overextend ourselves. And then when people don't really recognize that thing or say, hey, look, I appreciated that. This is what I needed. We start to feel away. Okay. And then there's sometimes when we can do certain things or we could be so focused on other people that we forget our main priorities. Okay. Our main priorities. What does that look like for you? You know what I mean? So let me get up in here real smooth, y'all. Please bear with me. I'm doing my boy at this justice. There you go. He should be in here in a second. But anyway, so what do y'all think about that, right? Hey, let me know. Let me know. Are you a people pleaser? Do you know people pleasers? You know what I'm saying? And how do you deal with them? Like, how do you talk to them? Say, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this thing, but really don't need that right now. And especially when you see individuals that you know, like, and trust, or you even love, you see that they're doing so much that is actually affecting them, not just mentally, but professionally and all of that.
Mm.
Yo, what up, dog?
What up?
Yo, man, my fault, bro. I was trying to take care of this thing and forgot all about that. Send you
So
this link. Yo, so people pleasing, bro.
people pleasing. Hold on for a second, man.
It's a lot, ain't it? I mean, like, so what I just got over talking about real briefly was where's the line between being kind and then trying too hard to make people happy? Like, how can you recognize when you've overstepped?
I think when we talking about people pleasing, think about is it because you're just trying to be kind, or is it because you have a fear of rejection? You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? What
mm.
is it in you to make you want to go that route?
Or is it control?
Control, elaborate. What you mean?
So, like, for example, let's say
Why is
for
colorism under my name?
say what now?
says colorism under my name.
You probably put that there.
Why would I put that? Oh, that's probably from
Yeah,
okay.
being silly.
From
But anyway,
Reader's show. But go ahead.
yeah. So, so like, let's say for example, you want to take care of something, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's coming from the right place, but you feel a way if people don't want that type of help. And
Okay.
you're trying to please, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, well, no, we're trying to go this way. And so instead of still helping or still serving, you just take all of your intellectual property and leave, right? You take your ball and go home, like, forget it, then I don't even want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. It was interesting. I was having a talk with somebody, and sometimes people believe that when they're doing, like when you just talking about doing a people pleasing, that they're doing and putting points on the board.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, look at all this stuff I'm doing. It should add up to something like, I added this cachet up with a person,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
All the while, you know what I'm saying? You think you're doing all this stuff, but the person you're doing it for doesn't even value that. And there's no fault through theirs. You just didn't realize that that's not what was important to them.
mm, mm.
And so the minute that they don't reciprocate what's going on, you think it's disrespectful. Like I did this, and this, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, to validate our friendship. And when man, all I want to do is play video games with you. I ain't even ask you to do all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
that doesn't, and then you know what I mean, you feel disrespected
that's right.
because there was a lack of communication of why, you know what I'm saying, why you was doing certain things and what you expected from that.
Right. Shout out Miss Clark. So she says that's the hidden motive. Right. Their heart is impure with that example. Now you're right. But hold on, at the same time, it could be, but they are doing things without really checking in with everybody else, right? So the initiative and the reason for doing that is pure, but I guess their desired result, if they didn't get that, then they can feel a way about it, like, well, man, dang, I was trying to do A, B, C, and D, and they don't want my help. Not saying
Man,
they don't want to help, it's just that your help wasn't needed in this particular, you know what I mean, this particular time. What you think?
it goes, and then speaking like that, it goes to some conversations me and you've had before about being ego driven, right?
Hmm.
Like, why wouldn't you want my help?
Right, idiot.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know who I am to be trying to help you, little peasant. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like, you don't want my help.
right,
100
right.
people a day call me to help them, and you don't want my help. Nah, dog, I just wanted to just vent something to you real quick, man. I didn't need you to really come fix my problem.
Bruh, you know what, and that's hard for me. I can be completely honest with it, right? That is so hard for me because out of all the individuals that I connect with throughout the day or throughout the week, it seemed like there's a certain battle rhythm, if you will. Everyone wants something, you know what I
Mm,
mean? Something instead of, hey, I just want your perspective. That's it. I don't need a damn, what is it, like a business plan on
yeah,
how to do that thing, or you to just deconstruct my whole thought process. I just really want to talk, you
yeah,
know?
you know what I'm saying? Maybe I just wanted to hear it out loud. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And I'm talking to you. You
mm,
know? And
yeah.
then, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times people don't know that, you could be like, it could get overwhelming when you're not ready for the solution to hear it because somebody's trying to be kind. They're trying to help you, try to please you. That's what they believe that they're doing. Right. And since you know that that's really coming from a place of good intention,
Mhm.
because there's a difference, right? That if you know that the person is trying to do it out of good intention, right?
Yeah.
Or a person that just feels like they always got the answer and they just annoying as hell.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So the person that like you trying to let them down, he's like, listen, I know you're just trying to please folks. You know what I mean? Of course, nobody's gonna say it like that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? But I do got a question though. Is that why do you think people even become that to begin with? Like we all take them personality tests, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna equate say people pleasing with the blue. The blue
Okay.
when we
So
talking
you
about
talking about four lenses.
yeah,
Gotcha.
four lenses. Four lenses,
Mhm.
just to be clear. I'm glad you know what I'm saying, you do a lot of reading, so I knew you knew what I was talking about. But anyway, And people that don't know the four lenses, the colors is orange, yellow, green, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm explaining it real shortly. Orange is spontaneous. They do things at a drop of a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Blue cares about people's feelings and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. They generally care about what people think. Green is the analytical thinkers. Sometimes I feel like those guys are so smart they always miss things because they're overly thinking about things. And
Mm-hmm.
gold is they're very organized in their thought process,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? When
Yep.
I took that
Kind of like an A
personality
type.
test, huh?
Mhm. I say kind of like an A type.
Correct. Like green and gold, definitely. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I remember taking that test, and I never would have thought that. I had a feeling that I was going to be high with orange, with spontaneous thinking and stuff like that. But came to find out, because I took that test trying to be as honest as possible.
Mhm.
Then, I was very high on blue. You know what I mean? That's something that I never would have thought. You know what I mean? In my mind, thinking about myself, I don't think that that's what it is. But when I stop and really think about how I operate business, I was like, dang, I really am like that. I do try to do this stuff to make people happy at the detriment to sometimes the mission or detriment to myself
Mhm.
because I put your happiness first.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like we talked about before, when you are that person that has the means to help or do any of that stuff, and you're doing this for a person, and then they come back to find out that they resent you anyway.
Mm.
And they especially resented that you was the one that had the means to help them.
Mm.
So you being a people pleaser, trying to fulfill whatever that is inside, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm really helping this person, whatever, you know what I mean? I hope that they're good. I hope that they're happy with what I'm doing. All the while, it's like, man, you think I care about you being able to let me stay here? What you
Mm.
think that makes you important? That makes you special?
That's right. Or better than me.
Right.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man. So your question, now repeat your question again. Why do you think
So
that
why do you,
is?
why do you think people become people pleasers? Dang, I did go on a tangent, didn't I?
It's all good.
Man,
Hey,
I went
hey,
on a tangent.
yo,
Why
you
do you
went
think?
there.
Why would people want to choose that personality type if we choose it? You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
I
Why?
don't think I don't think it's a chosen type of thing. And also I kind of believe or agree with Miss Clark. So she said it can come from their parents,
Yeah.
right? And based off of how we're grown, like we already gonna have our personal way of thinking, but then our external influences will kind of shift us based off of how we show up in the world. You see what I'm saying? So if being communal is important to us,
Mhm.
then you know showing up or being not necessarily inclusive, but yeah, being inclusive, but then also being a being productive in the community means a lot. You get what I mean? To us personally. So kind of switching a little bit, I'm the type of person that I feel as though if you're coming to me with an issue, you clearly want a solution.
Yeah.
Clearly, right?
Yep.
And the way my mind works, I'm solution based. And then, but I have to understand, or I have to ask, hey, what do you want? Right? You want to just talk? We can do that. Do you want some support? Then we can do that. And I may not even be the one that could help, but I can help, kind of help you think through that thing. But I think that sometimes we arbitrarily think we're helping and we're not. Sometimes we're enabling people,
Okay. And why
you know,
why do you think that people do that though? Like enable folks.
because we don't want to see people suffer. The people that we know, like, and trust, people that we love. You get what I'm saying? Oh, and especially if I've been there, yo, no, that ain't what you want to do. Trust me, that ain't what you want to do. But at the same time, I remember talking to a friend a couple of days ago about this. Sometimes when you try to step in somebody's life, you're taking the lesson away from them. The lesson you learned your way, you're taking it away from them, right? Look, we all got choices and consequences every day.
Right.
right? And sometimes based off of how influential you are in that person's life, you can take that opportunity away from them to get it from their worldview, you know?
But check this, man.
Mm,
Another motivating cause could be, it's interesting because I went to church today, and it's something my pastor has said. Right, we're
mhm.
talking about
Amen, by the way. Good.
it's talking. She was talking about when people pray for you. You know, I'm sorry. Let me rewind that. When people pray for others more than they pray for themselves, right?
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like I'm praying for everybody, but I don't spend that much time praying for myself. It's
mhm,
because sometimes people refuse to see themselves. So when you're doing all this stuff for people, right? Giving all these people advice and everything about what they should do, and you know what I'm saying, you don't really spend the time to think about what you really need to be doing.
mhm.
Is it because that's a harder task for you? It's easier for you to try to fix other people's problems or be that person that's there, like saying, hey, I did that, but you're not fixing your own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, we've talked about this before. It's the whole blame acronym, right? It's because looking at me ain't easy, you
Yeah,
know, because I have to be able to look at my mess. You know, it's easier to help somebody else or to see somebody else's dysfunction,
right.
right? Think about like it's easier to say when somebody need therapy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But you know, it's easy to say that somebody need, some type of financial support, you know, or knowledge.
bro. Sometimes, man, when I'm in the when people come to me for some kind of advice or something like that, and I'm just talking about what people should do, and I'm thinking I would not do some of this stuff. You know what I mean? It sounds good, not have to stop. I'm like, yeah, you know
That's right.
what? I know
Yeah.
a lot of this sounds good and easy. You know what I mean? Because I'm making it sound like, yeah, I know in reality is a lot more difficult than that. That's why you
Mhm.
went to somebody else.
That's right.
You know what
That's
I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I think we got to be real careful when we talk about being a people pleaser and people trust you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because you are that person.
Mhm,
What you say out your mouth, if it's genuine or if you're just trying to tell them something that, you know what I'm saying, is going to make them feel at ease,
mhm, mhm.
or you're going to tell them something they really need, you know what I'm saying, to be able to press forward.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I had a good conversation with a friend today, and it was based off of some advice, right? Some advice that they gave. And then we later on discovered, or she knew, I didn't know, you know, a lot of the information that she was giving me was based off of her experience.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Based off of her experience, and said, wait a minute, you know what? That something like I went through something in the past. And again, if you care about someone, you're going to say, look, I don't want you to go through this, do. But caveat that with, this is what happened to me.
That's it.
Right. That's it. You know, this is what happened to me. And this is what could happen. But keep your eyes open. You get what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying? You don't want this to happen because this is the secondary and tertiary orders of effect. Because if you're not able to put yourself in that story, then you sound like you're not a dictator, but you sound like you're
You
preaching.
just preaching, yeah. You just preaching about something you don't even know nothing about.
You see what I'm saying? Or if you know something about it, you're not like, think about it. You got some pastors out there, and shout out to my petty pastor. He probably listening right now. But what I appreciate about him is that when he is speaking the word, or he's speaking to the congregation, he always uses himself as an example.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Hey, this is what the word says, and this is how I deal with things, or this is how I fell short. You know what I mean? So I think that when people are people pleasing, they may have forgotten that they too was once there, and they don't include that in the conversation.
Because you should always, well, not always, you shouldn't always, but when you can, you should let people know you're coming from an empathetic point of
Yes.
view. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they know why, but like again, you gotta let it be known, you know what I'm saying, that like you just said, that hey, this is, I'm saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm just telling you this is my experience of when I did it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Maybe it might still
Mhm.
work for you. You know what I mean? Maybe you might feel different about it, but this is what I went through, and this is why I went through it like that. You know what I mean? It might be even give somebody a key to maybe do something a little bit different than you did to achieve another result.
Facts. Facts. Now, check this out. I know that this is many people deal with this, even myself. So how about this? When you're always pleasing others, all right?
Hmm.
When you're always pleasing others, how can you keep from working on your own goals, or how does that keep from working on your own goals? You see what I'm saying? Because you could be focused
Right.
on doing so many things for everybody else, but then your clothes are piling out. You know what I mean? Your dishes is, you know what I mean? You're mismanaging your funds, or even on at work, you know?
I think I kind of run into this. You know what I'm saying? There's certain times a day where it's like, okay, it's just for you, right?
What you mean?
Like from this block to this block, it's just my time.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just me, right? Just for you. But in an effort to want to please somebody, you know what I'm saying? You start using some of that time for somebody else. And it feels good in the beginning because you're helping somebody, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm able to help this person or whatever. But after a while, you start seeing how it takes away from you. Like, man, that was your one day because you the rest of the part of the day you give to everybody else.
Hmm.
This little slice of time was your time. You know what I mean? And now, you know what I'm saying, you cut it up to where now, you don't even have that no more. But this person is happy. You know what I mean?
That's right.
This person, so how you gonna deal with it? You know what I mean? Now you don't have that time for yourself that you used
And
to.
I really do think that even while you were talking, I think the reason why we do that, we avoid sometimes doing things for us and focus on other individuals, thinking that that's going to make us feel better. Okay.
Mhm.
And it might for a moment. However, when we're done doing that thing, whatever it was that we avoided is still waiting on us.
Still waiting on you. All those promises you made to yourself are still there.
Bruh, you remember January, what we talked about? What
Yeah,
those resolutions?
you know what I'm saying? 225 by the end of July is what I gotta be. You know what I
Come
mean?
on.
I'm gonna do it.
You see?
It's just I think that's how it starts. Because a lot of times what you do on a daily and how you plan things is supposed to go achieve your goals, right?
Yes.
So when anything knocks you off your square of that, right? Like, because you're trying to make somebody happy and try to make people happy, makes your life unpredictable. I
Mm,
can't tell this person no. I gotta drop what I'm doing so I can go save you. You know what I mean? And it's funny, this ain't the first comedian I heard say it, you know what I mean? But we went to a comedy show to see Phase on Love last night, right?
oh, how was it?
He was drunk in a mug, man, but it was still funny, you know what I mean? But he was toe up, you know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm.
Yeah, he definitely would have got a self lecture the next day. He definitely, I gotta talk to you, dog. He definitely would have got one of those, you know what I mean? But,
Hey, hey, this gonna hurt me more than it hurt.
yeah, man, he was out of pocket. But anyway, this comedian was talking, and then he said something about when somebody comes and asks you for $100, right?
Mhm.
I said, "Hey, let me get $100, man. I pay it back to you tomorrow." Well, you might well wait till tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, what you asking for? If you just gonna pay me back tomorrow, wait till tomorrow. Then you know
It's
what I
only a
mean?
few more hours, right?
Yeah, he said, yeah. If you wait a couple more hours, you ain't got to worry about paying me back. You know what I'm saying? But it's like sometimes when people come to you with their problem, and especially when you've exhausted yourself trying to help them, you know what I mean? Like, so now you just want my attention or you just want my time to help you try to fix your stuff, but you're not really interested in uh, the solution.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You just want to be able to hit me up to see if I react.
that's right.
You know what I mean?
Mm,
So it's like, okay, when it's like that, you know what I'm saying? Your life becomes unpredictable because you respond to every single call, every single message. You know what I mean? I need to get picked. I need a ride. I need to borrow this. I need advice on this.
mm.
You know what I mean? Now he
Mm.
got to break free and be like, okay, what's up?
Woo, bro, man. Listen, I'm yo, I'm chiming in, not chiming in. I'm getting some comments about some things. You know what I mean about the. So my question is, and for everybody that's watching, first of all, shout out to y'all that's still tuning in. Yo, hit the share button, y'all. Make sure that individuals is getting this good news, y'all. We're talking about escaping the people pleasing mentality. All right, escaping that is not easy. So look, check this out though. What do you think about this, Herm?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, man, and it's touchy, but can any relationship truly be healthy if one person is always the one saying yes? What I mean by that is that when the like there isn't, I guess, a clear establishment of boundaries and what an individual can and can't do. But if one person is always saying, yeah, I got you, yeah, I got you, and then the other person isn't, what would you think about that in a relationship?
Hold on a second. My bad, man. I think that it can't be. I mean, obviously, there's a toxic relationship.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like a tick on a dog. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The tick is constantly the thing that's taken away from the dog, right?
Mhm.
You can't the relationship is based on just the one person saying yes all the time, right? You can see how that obviously just is just taken from one person. And then as soon as that person says no, you make that person feel all kind of guilty, you know what I'm saying? And make them feel like they let you down,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
that you know that that person values being able to feel like they accommodated you.
Mm.
So now that person can be easily taken advantage of. So how can that be a healthy relationship? And
Mm.
if you know that your friend or your mate or whatever is the person that always says yes, what's your responsibility to that?
That's right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like what do you do when you have a friend that's like that and you care about them? I,
Yeah. And you know, yes, and without even hurting their feelings, right? To say,
yeah,
hey, I appreciate that you are always willing to help. However, we're not doing that. Not today. You know what I mean? Even if you're like, hey, I got to do A, B, C, and D. If I truly care about this person, I need to be able to communicate to them how saying no is also a good thing.
bro. I have a friend who you know my friend.
Mhm.
Uh he the way he shows his love for his people is buying them things, right?
Mhm.
He buys them things.
Right.
And it's not like he's some kind of rich person. But I remember one time we was at this event and he wanted to buy all these rounds for these people, right?
Mhm.
And I'm talking about people in the crowd as millionaires that he went to, you know what I'm saying, to school with. You know what I'm saying? Like NBA basketball player. You know what I mean? Like you want to buy him the round.
That's right.
He's
Wow.
not asking for it. Now, don't get
That's
me
right.
wrong. He's not asking for it or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, but that's his way. And he's like, he tells me, man, this is my way, you know what I'm saying, to show my value, you know what I'm saying, to show me. I
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm saying? I got it, but I didn't get it. You know what I mean? But I made sure he stopped doing that crap because he do that every time we
Good.
went somewhere. You know what I mean? Is try to buy everybody all these rounds and stuff. Like, man, you ain't got it like that. And it's okay. I like
You
them
know
cats
that
ain't
gets go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
You know that gets me to think about love languages.
Mhm.
You see, sometimes our love language can cause us to overextend just because deep down that's our way of feeling love, so we want to project that and get that in return. But there's some times when it's at, it takes so much out of you, you don't even know it. You get what I
Right.
mean? You don't even know it. Like if you're trying to protect your, like your finances or whatever, because you got something that you want to do, you can't always say yes to everything, or giving individuals things just to feel validated. That doesn't mean that they don't love you, and that doesn't mean you don't love them. But you have to prioritize certain things instead of always pleasing people or thinking that you're pleasing people. Because to your point, if nobody asks, what are you doing? Why are you doing it?
to be seen. And I don't mean
I know
in
what you mean. I
yeah,
know what
you
you
know what
mean.
I'm saying? Like I don't mean like, yeah, look at me. I'm talking about, hey, I see you. You know what I
And and,
mean?
and, and I'm I'm important as
Yeah,
well.
I want people to see me. You know what I mean? I don't want to be insignificant. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And so when you think about it like that, it's like, okay, so what is the motivation of a people pleaser? What could it be? Is it to be seen? You know what I'm saying? Is it a look at me type deal? You know what I'm saying? Because you have those too. You know, people that do things but want to make sure that, hey, I'm advertising myself for the credit. You know what I mean? Like you could do stuff for people all the time and never talk about it.
that's right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? There's things that I do that people would never know. You know what I'm saying? That you just do.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But then you got those people that also do it. But then,
Yeah.
hey, I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
out here donating my time to the people, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, what's the
Mm,
motivation? Or so is that a people pleaser? The one that does that
like
for
for
the
the gram
likes,
and
yeah, for
for
the
the
likes,
likes.
for the follows. You know what I mean? Or they pleasing themselves.
I think that's what that is. I think that's exactly what that is because if it's from the right place, going back to the original, the original saying, if it's coming from the right place, it shouldn't matter. You dig what I'm saying? And Ms. Clark, she says to be accepted. Yes, fear of rejection or the desperation. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
And that's the key. And so, friends, as we're talking about escaping the people pleaser mentality, think about what it is that you're doing and think about your why,
Yeah.
right? Like if a person does not accept what you have, does not mean that what you have is not as valuable, right? It's just understanding who your audience or who your customer is, so to speak, because just because an individual that you know and that know you don't want what you have does not mean, and look, here's something else. It doesn't mean that they're a hater. Think about it. It doesn't mean that that you're not the bee's knees, if you will. It's just right now they don't need that thing, or maybe they just have other means right now, and that's okay. And
Right.
then you kind of want people to have other options because what if you're everybody's go-to?
Man. And you
You
gonna have to burn the bacon.
see what I'm saying? You're gonna have to burn the bacon.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once they find out you the one that can make the perfect bacon, you always making the bacon all the
Right.
time.
That's right.
And so you gonna have to burn the pans for people to leave you alone about the bacon.
That's right.
I mean, let me burn a pan real quick so I can get up off bacon duty. You know what I mean? But
Real smooth. Yeah.
yeah, man, because it does feel good to be, you know what I'm saying, everybody's emotional superhero. You know what I mean? It feels good to know people can depend on you. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like, hey, I don't let people down. You know what I mean? That's part of my character.
Mhm.
This, that, and the third. But then I wonder, like, okay, is that Seth's favorite word? Is that an ego thing? You know what I mean? Is that fulfilling to me because of something selfish?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, like you just said, you got to define your why. Why are you being driven this way to be to extend yourself always outward?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Is it? Are you looking for a benefit? Should you look for a benefit? You know what I mean? Why should you look for a benefit? And why not? Do you understand why you're doing these things?
That's the key.
You
That's the
know,
key. No, I like that. I like that.
and so it's
Man.
like, you got to be able to when you identify when you when you identify yourself as a people pleaser, right?
Mhm.
I'm identified as a people pleaser. The next thing you should start doing is thinking about ways to be able to set boundaries.
Whoa,
You
man.
know
I
what I
knew that
mean?
was coming. I knew
You
that
got
was coming. That's one of the hardest things, bro.
You got to. I think people need to understand the power of saying no.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what I mean, because sometimes it's hard for people to say no
That's right.
because, they're like, man, I let that person down or whatnot. But once you realize saying no is protecting your space, and protecting your mental, and you're going to survive the next day after saying no.
And they will too. And I think that's the other thing, right? Because I mean, everybody that's listening right now, I want y'all to really think about how people treat you after you say you can't do something. So the yeses are one thing, but when you say no, I think that's a true test of the relationship. You know,
Absolutely.
that's a true test of it, because if you can say no, like, you know what, I get it because you have done A, B, C, and D. If you don't got it, I know that if you did, then I would have it. Okay. However, you got some individuals that's so used to getting things from you. When you say no, they're like, wait, what you mean? No.
What you mean? What you talking about?
What you mean you got something else to do outside of
Yeah,
pleasing me?
yeah. This another language we talking about? Hold on, let
Right?
me rewind, come back because I know
Where
you
they
ain't
do
say
that
something.
at? You don't tell me no. Because but this is the deal though. I'm saying that to say this. I believe sometimes individuals have that fear, if you will, of saying no because they may equate no to saying no to the relationship. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? No, I don't like you anymore. So because I can't do this, I don't want you in my life anymore. That's far from the truth, friends. And sometimes individuals will guilt you by enforcing your boundaries, because we can have boundaries all day every day, but we don't enforce them,
Hmm.
you know because this things we talk about, you and I talk about every day, but it's not easy to actually do every day, right? That enforcing is a mother, even
Yeah,
when it comes down to our kids.
it is. Yeah, because you want to make sure your kids are happy.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to sit around thinking, man, my kids don't like me. You know what I mean? My kids
Right.
something. You
Right.
always want to try to do the right thing from them, but I mean, it's still gonna weigh on your mind if and for some people they say, man, I don't care what people think about me. I envy those folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do care what people think about me because it affects my outside relationships on how I can get things done. You know what I mean? It's important what people think about me.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? I'm not, I need other people, since I work in the community, I need other people to come work with me
Mhm.
to help the community. So I have to care what people think
Correct.
about me to an extent.
Correct. And I get that. And I think this is what people may struggle with, caring about what people say or think that's going to take them off of their path, or excuse me, caring about what people think or say that can help them to identify blind spots.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I didn't know that. Because it's almost it's kind of counterproductive when a person put on their Facebook page, I don't care what you think or say about me.
Right. Right.
Why would you put it on your page then? Because clearly you do. You get
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah. I'm
saying?
gonna start deleting people just to start deleting them. What's the announcement
Right.
about?
Why you got to announce that?
Yeah, you know
You
what I'm
know what I'm
saying?
saying? Yeah. So I know that it is an ego thing. It can be an ego thing, but we can lose sight of what's truly important um if we internalize everybody's thought process. You get what I'm saying? As far as that thing. What's going on, James? So he says heavy on the caring to a certain extent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's like it can consume you.
yeah.
It really can consume you, bro.
Yeah, because you can't if you care if the only thing you do is care about what people think. I do care about what people think to a certain extent, meaning I still gotta be me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And inherently, I believe that I'm a good person, even though I may not agree with a lot of people think about certain things, right? And and a lot of them are wrong about certain things. I can't help that. You know what I
You
mean?
s- you
I
see,
still love it. I love everybody the same still. You know what I mean? And
because
since
majority of the time they wrong. You
yeah,
know?
but see, I think that the people that know me kind of know where I'm coming from and stuff like that, to know that, I'm not really a evil person or a mean person or somebody that's going to intentionally hurt you.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? So in that case, I do care about what people think to a certain extent because if they thinking that I'm an evil person,
mhm.
you know what I'm saying, somebody that's going to hurt you or you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't need that on my reputation.
That's right.
You get
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? But if they like, well, I don't agree with his beliefs and stuff like that, I get that. You know what I'm saying? But I can still respect you.
And I think that's the most important part. So the question is, even in this vein, are we really trying to make everyone happy? Right? Or are we just scared that people won't like us if we stop? You see what I'm saying? So that's what, you know what I mean? It kind of goes into that vein. Like, man, some people, right? Like I surround myself, I don't know how, right? I don't pick them, but there's individuals that's around me that are extremely sensitive. Okay. And so sometimes sometimes it's like, damn, can I be honest with this person and them not take it as though they're the biggest scumball and dirtbag on this earth, or can they hear my heart and see my heart? You get what
Right.
I'm saying? Versus me dumping on them. And so, do I avoid being honest with them because they're going to quote unquote feel, well, I feel like all right.
Right,
And now check it out. Now I regret even being honest.
I think that I think that you gotta know the situation
Yeah,
and definitely know the person you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? The way that I approach you, you know what I'm saying, ain't gonna be the same way I approach different friends.
that's right.
You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it's the same for me and other friends that you got. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
There's different things that you know what I'm saying that okay, yeah, that's really not a conversation for him. You know what I mean? That's not a conversation for her.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
I think it's important to know, just like in the workplace.
Know your audience, ain't it?
Yeah, it's just important to know your audience and
Oh,
respect what you and key word respect what you know that they're going to give you if you give them a certain thing.
mm,
If it's your own advice, or you know that if you're going to say something to them, that the advice that they're going to give, you
mm,
already know what kind of pocket that they. If these are people that you care about and that you've associated with, you already know what kind of pocket they're going to come out of.
that's right.
So why act surprised when it happens?
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Ah, man, that's that thing, man. That's that thing. So I guess the other part of it is what's most important, pleasing a person or appeasing. You see what I'm saying?
I,
Because I guess it's kind of like the same thing. So it's like pleasing a person by being honest or avoiding saying the truth just to appease them. Because to your point, yeah, you might know what's going to happen, but damn, I need to let you know about this things, and I am not responsible, but I got to welcome whatever ramifications come from it
yeah.
because I value the friendship.
I'm sorry, man. I just had some unexpected company come in the house, but
Oh, they ain't called first.
no.
There you
Listen, man, I think it's my sister. But anyway,
go. Okay.
I think the most important thing is, I mean, like we all think, like we all believe, the most important thing is telling people the truth.
Hmm.
If it's your place to tell that truth,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like understand who you are in this thing, right? You know what I mean? Like say, like you get to talking about stuff. I'm not finna sit there and try to give you financial advice about anything.
Right.
I don't know your finances like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you know, I ain't see no tax returns or nothing like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
I get to looking around. Hey, you ever thought about investing in like, well, man, like we best friends, but we never talk like that. You know what I mean? Like that, it's important to know. You know what I'm saying? Who you are, like respect to the person that you're speaking to. We know each other.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Yeah,
Mhm.
you're gonna tell the truth. You're gonna tell the truth, but understand where your place is for that truth.
Yeah.
You know, now unless it's somebody you love and you think, you know what I'm saying, they're going down a path where they will end up getting hurt in some kind of way.
There you go. Yeah.
And then you gotta assess, hey, this might ruin our friendship, but I, if I don't say something, I'm not gonna live with myself if something bad happens.
There you go. And
You
I
know,
think that's the key. No, no, I think that's right. I didn't even think about it like that and at this point because, yeah, like if it comes down to my daughter, listen, or no, a friend, because no matter what, she's gonna be my baby, right? That's it.
yeah,
But even when it comes down to my son being very transparent, we've had some conversations and he ain't like it, which is fine, right? Like, what was that movie, Fences? Remember when we
yeah.
did a show about fences?
I gotta like you, yeah.
Who said I had to? Like, what? You don't got to like me, but understand I have a responsibility for real. You know what I mean? So even if my responsibility isn't tangibly putting clothes on your back, right? But obviously I'm here for that. But if I'm giving you something for your heart and for your mind, I don't care if you want to hear it or not. You get what I'm saying? Because I love you so much, I see something that you don't. You get what I mean? But when it comes down to people that you're not related to your point, you almost have to be willing to put the friendship on a chopping block because you care that much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I see you doing something so detrimental. I can't even stand to watch you do it.
Dog. I mean, you did that not too long ago to me while I was driving.
When?
I was eating a delicious steak, country fried steak biscuit from the gas station. You know what I'm saying? Delicious. And I was feeling good about myself. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I got this nice biscuit from this gas station. And you gave me hell for like 2 weeks about that one biscuit. You know, you're like, I don't know
No,
if this guy's my friend. You know what I'm saying? Just to ruin a moment like that for me.
you so stupid. First of all, you shouldn't even be romanticizing about any type of sadness. Okay. So the fact you're doing that, even though that didn't happen, it would have happened. Like, bruh, put it down. What are you doing? You're not gonna hit that goal. All right. You're going the other way.
Yeah.
But no, but I mean, yeah, to your point, man. Yeah, you gotta know who you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Herm be tripping. Always tripping. Like, you see how he just made up that whole fabricated story? But but that's something that we will have to do, right? But we have that space to do it. And I think that what has happened is that there has been a consistent time frame, right? Track record within a relationship that we can do that. But when individuals don't have that yet, it's like, hey, let me test this on out, right? How has other conversations happened, right? And so, yes, they know that I'm there for them. They know I'm team them, okay? And let's see if they understand I'm still team them when I may say something that they don't like.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it matters when you got to say something that, especially when you got to say something that they don't like. It's like my wife say, you know what I'm saying? Like when you deliver messages on a trash can lid. You
That's
spent
right.
all this time preparing this food, making it nice. This information is great,
Yeah.
but you're giving it to them like they're some kind of idiot and stupid. You know what I mean? Talking down to them or condescending, or you know what I'm saying? I can't believe you did that. The advice you got is sound, but man, I don't want to eat it off of that.
That's
Why
right.
you bring it to me like that? You know what I'm saying? Like we all got to have a gift to know how to, you know, I mean, something got to live hard truths and stuff. Get that, but understand that, you know what I'm saying. In order for somebody to be receptive, they got to know where your you know, like you really care about them is why you saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, man, that's a touchy subject or even a situation for certain folks because there are people out there, I'm sure that exist that, hey, my friends are my cheerleaders. You get what I'm saying? My friends will only tell me the things that I need to hear, and that's going to make me feel good. You understand? And that could be detrimental. Do you know I had a person tell me before, just by me being me, and don't get me wrong, I do understand I can be extreme to a degree, right? Just because my mind is out of line. But I told this person the truth about a situation and the way I was handling it. And well, not necessarily the way I was handling it, but the way I saw it. Their response was, I was cruel, right? Pretty bold. But I had to realize that, all right, well, this is your perspective. I respect that. However, I don't own that because I'm not a cruel person. You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying? And where it came from was from a place of care. And so going back to what you were saying, if there was a safe space, if you will, to be transparent, but then all of a sudden, you know what? You're evil, so to speak. Really? Am I?
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Really? Because I said something you didn't like.
Oh man, yeah. I remember at my job, you know, so I said something they didn't like, and next thing you know, I hated white people.
See?
I was like,
You
okay,
see?
you know,
Right. And then what do you do about that? Right. Especially when you care. And it's like, wow,
yeah,
that's what you, it's like, this is how you view the truth
yeah,
or my truth. Because if the tables was turned, I would have to say, all right, wow, I didn't know that you thought that way, but I'm willing to understand your perspective. So
Right.
in my thought process, that kind of shows an individual's level of emotional intelligence or
Correct.
even awareness.
Yeah. I agree with that, because you got to be able to accept feedback, criticism, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or advice. Everything won't be pleasant sounding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in order to grow, you're going to have to be able to, pick through the BS sometimes.
Mm, mhm.
So really, really, you do have to watch how you deliver certain things. You know what I mean? If you know the people that you are speaking to, and you know how they like to get information, right? You know what I mean? It's like a quarterback. They know certain receivers can catch certain type balls.
There you go.
You know what I mean? If I
Mhm,
know if I throw it this way, they can catch it. Throw it. You know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of deal.
It's a
But you're
learning
not always
curve.
going to be perfect. You're not always going to be perfect, and then that's when people got to understand your heart.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I might have said that wrong or whatever, in the heat of the moment, but you know that everything that I've always tried to give you was to help you.
Mm. So, man, why this today, man? Like, what? Why are we talking about this today? Like,
For
why do you
me,
think it's important?
I think that this is a conversation for people out there that might be seeing themselves on the side to where they're always giving out, right? They're always trying to please people and make people happy and not realizing what that's doing for their own mental health, their own goal setting, you know what I'm saying, their life, their relationships with their own family.
Hmm.
And just to let people just at least be aware that, hey, this is really a thing, you know what I mean, that other people are going through too, you know what I mean? And these are different ways where you can still, you know what I'm saying, do what fulfills you, will help people, but set boundaries and understand the power in saying the word no.
Mm,
Understanding that no will the word no will eliminate the folks that don't deserve, you know what I'm saying, the kind of person that you are. Not everybody deserves your energy and your willing, your helpful, you know what I'm saying, your helpfulness and all of that stuff. Not everybody deserves that.
that's
So
right.
say no to them a couple of times to see, you know. And I think that's why we're having this show today, man. Is transparency. I found myself thinking about myself, and how pleasing people will sometimes mess with my mental health.
What
You
you
know,
mean?
because when you're that person that always takes the back, always concedes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll let y'all do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead. As long as everybody's cool, as long as everybody's happy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you get played, and you know what I'm saying? You feel like you're getting disrespected, right? Now you want to react. It's like, man, I've done all this for you guys. But again, it goes back to what we saying this. I'm doing all this for you guys, right? That don't mean that it's something that they appreciate. Why? You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean they should appreciate it. Because now it feels like I'm doing it, you know what I'm saying, from the wrong angle. Am I doing this to get cachet points?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because if it wasn't that, if somebody's quote unquote disrespecting you, it shouldn't be that big a deal. That's just disrespect. But no,
No, it is
you disrespecting the person that did all this for you.
real talk.
So
Real
certain
talk.
things that I'm working through. So when we was talking about, saying something to talk about today, I was like, man, this has been on my heart today.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank y'all for tuning in, right? Because this is very, very important. So, understand this. Now it's time for you to take your power back. Can you take it? Meaning that you don't have to fix everything overnight, right? So, you can start small, right? Even within your relationships. So, like you were saying, but say no to one single thing this week, even to yourself.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, there's a such thing as denying yourself to exercise delayed gratification. That might be another type of conversation, right?
Absolutely.
But deny deny gratification. Because look, y'all, what it does is that it can drain your spirit, real talk. And especially if it's coming down to, protecting your neck from those energy vampires, you got to let someone be temporarily disappointed. You dig what I'm saying? It's okay because just so that you can be permanently free, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to be willing to do that. And honestly, y'all, that is love, believe it or not. Okay. It's not just love for that person, but it's also love for self. So your values don't come from, how useful you are to others. It comes from who you actually are.
Absolutely.
Understand that, and that's real talk. But yo, man, I'm glad that we had this conversation for real, man. It kind of brings things full circle as I'm having conversations with individuals on the Lion Circle. Shout out to everybody. Shout out Miss Clark. She's a part of the circle now. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody else that's listening. But when it comes down to business and personal development, there's some individuals that you're going to have to say no to, even when it
Absolutely.
comes down to business, right? Not everybody, what? Not everybody's your customer.
Mm-mm.
You dig? Not everybody's your customer. Not everybody's your like. You can have associates, but not everybody's your friend.
Nope.
Because individuals will take your kindness for weakness and just keep digging at that thing.
You got to find out who the extras are, who's the
Mhm.
co-stars, who's the supporting cast. You know what I'm saying? And some people are just extras.
That's right. That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
You know what they call them? NPCs. I think that's a good
Yeah,
one to talk
yeah,
about.
non-player characters.
Non-player characters, bruh. Oh man, that's real. And friends, that kind of goes along when I talk about the plastic plant, right? But those non-player characters in your life, they're really there for decoration. They're just there to pass the time. But if you involve with the wrong individual, wrong organization, or whatever the case it is, it can take you off your square. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? It can derail you from all that thing. But anyway, yo, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and everything. And look, y'all take care of yourself, right on, and each other. Well, we go see y'all next week. Later.